So Joe fucked up, hastily apologized, and now we have to save her. How is this going to end? Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with the final two episodes, season 2, episode 7 and 8 of Kid Cosmic. Yeah, we are closing this out today. And there's a part of me that kind of wishes we weren't, but I think it's the right time. I mean, like I've said with the past couple days, we're closing out shows on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week because it just makes it easier for me to have to change everything on the channel banner, the banner up here that you're going to see, to change all of that like at the same time. It makes it so much easier than if I like had to change like, oh, some of it this week, some of it next week, etc., etc. You could say it's just me being lazy, and to a point, yeah, but it's also just the fact of it just makes it easier to streamline it, you know? Um Plus I tend to usually do a lot of shows where I react to the final couple episodes together. It's just a way I do things. A lot of the time, it's not always that way, but a lot of the time. So with certain shows like Sandland and this, that just makes sense. And Lanster, I just, did a bunch of episodes to basically match that. So yeah, throughout this entire season, we've seen Jo continuously fuck up more and more. She's become extremely self conscious about being the leader and has been given some bad advice from Queen Jean. And again, as I've continuously stated, I don't think it's out of any ill intent. I think it's just what Queen Jean knows. And she even seems like not exactly happy with where things have gone, especially within the last episode or two. She even noted that she thought Flo hated her and everything, and how Flo responds to that because Flo wants to help everyone because she's awesome like that. um, I think this has been done really well. I love how this season has integrated the side characters from season one and given them a more leading role, even though our main heroes, for the most part, are still the main characters. Like, Jo is definitely the main character of this season. That is just undeniable. Kid kind of takes a step back and becomes the deuteragonist. Um, Rosa, Papa G, and Tuna Sandwich really take a step back and almost become side characters this season. While other characters from the Oasis step forward to become more major characters. Flo is a big one. Flo is huge this season. She is a major character for sure. And then you even have like Rose's parents who get time to shine, and all the others really. They all really get a time to truly shine, and they take a step forward and kind of become less of side characters and more of just the supporting cast. There is a difference. I feel like supporting cast are like major characters who may not be the main characters, but they have notable roles to play. They support the main characters. Side characters are characters who are just kind of there occasionally, who have lines and stuff. Not quite background characters, but they don't really add too much. And that's the kind of role I feel they played in the first season. But they've definitely stepped up. And so I'm really happy to see that. And I wonder what they're going to do with the characters in season 3 to switch things up even more, especially since season 3 only has 6 episodes. Now, Jo has gone through this entire journey this season, and after like really fucking up to the point where it's like she's ostracized the entire team, her family, all of her friends and allies except Krosh, she ends up getting betrayed in turn by Krosh. It's kind of this irony that she ends up getting betrayed the same way she betrayed others. Cross tries to take the stones for herself, but ends up getting fucking killed. Just violently, like, obliterated right in front of Joe by Phantos. It's actually pretty wild, too. I went back and watched that, and because when it happened, it kind of, like, caught me off guard, and I was, like, just trying to process a bit. But I went back and watched it again and everything, and you see, like, first Crush's hand is just obliterated. She's just there with this stump, and I believe she starts to scream, like she's, like, freaked out, because rightly so. And then Phantos shoots the rest of her, and it's like, she's just dead. And it's like, oh, that's kind of disturbing. It's like, it's one of those occasions where it's obviously sanitized because this series is definitely geared towards a younger audience. It's sanitized in a way to where it's like, oh, it's not going to be bloody and gory or anything. But it's like, it's kid-friendly horror. It's kid-friendly, like, shock and awe. It's to the point where it's like, oh, this is fucked up. But it's kid-friendly enough to where it's like, oh, this wouldn't trip censors or anything. Not that you really have to worry about that with Netflix, but you get the gist. It's sanitized, shocking, horrific imagery. It's the kind of imagery that it's like, oh yeah, this is still shocking and horrific, but it's digestible, and it's in a way where kids won't fully, like, grasp the horror of it, but, like, adults watching, it's like, oh, that's fucked up. Oh, I don't like that. And that's just such a very unique thing. You only see, like, every so often. You just don't see it enough. And the funny thing is, the best comparison I can make is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Except that was actually a little more gruesome at times. With the plant devouring that member of the baker's dozen, and then, like, lifting up, and there's just the skeleton standing there. It's like, oh my god. But then it's like, you also see stuff that's more in this range. It's like the most non-gruesome stuff possible. Like when the unicorn horns, like, hit people and they, like, explode into confetti. It's like, that is just undeniably gruesome and horrible. But it's also not, because they're exploding into confetti. There's no blood or guts or anything. But these people are very much dead. They literally exploded. It's just like, there's a lot to reconcile there. So that I guess is the best comparison. I think I think many reviewers even pointed that out, how, like, insane a lot of the stuff in that movie was, which it was. And it's like, how did they get away with some of this shit? I'm not complaining, because that movie is phenomenal, but still, how did they get away with some of that shit? Yeah, and it's kind of the same thing here. It's just like a holy shit moment, but it's like non-gruesome gruesomeness. And so now Phantos has Joe, Phantos has all the stones, and our heroes somehow have to save them. So it definitely seems like my prediction was correct. Phantos is the main villain of this arc of this season, and Herodias will be the final big bad of season 3, which makes sense. And building up Herodias since season 2 also works. It's like, or actually technically since season 1. Having Herodias built up throughout the entire series works. Because it's not the first time a show has done that by any means. Avatar: The Last Airbender did that, obviously. But in season 1, Herodias was only, like, briefly mentioned. And I think only at the very end. In season 2, we finally got to see Herodias and learn more about it and see what it's capable of. Adds a definite new layer of fear. Which only fueled Joe's stupidity in this season, of course. And then in season 3, we're going to actually have to deal with that shit. Season 3 being 6 episodes as well, I think it's going to be super expedited. I genuinely believe season 3 is going to have to just go. It's not going to have any time for holding back or any time for, you know, um, just fun episodes and whatnot. It's going to have to be like go. And I still wonder, because each season is 2 episodes less than the last, I wonder if that was intentional or if that was just something Netflix did. Because it seems so like specific. 10 episodes, then 8 episodes, then 6 episodes. That almost feels like it has to be intentional because it's so specific. Every season is 2 episodes less than the last. But I wonder if it somehow was a Netflix thing. 'Cause I just don't understand why Netflix would do specifically that. I wonder if like anyone has said anything about why that happened. Maybe it was intentional. Maybe that was always the plan. That each season would be more intense than the last, and as such would have less time for funny gags and the comedic aspects. Season 1 is setting up a lot of stuff, so it also needed more time to set all the characters up, to understand them, to get the plot and everything. Season 2 is more like just like really nailing in how terrifying the main villain is, while also introducing the rest of the Stones of Power and showing Joe's arc here. Season 3 is at this point is pretty much just going to be the preparations for and the fight with Herodias, I assume. I guess we'll see, but there's again really not time to dawdle with that with only 6 episodes, and especially with the runtimes we have for this series, shorter runtimes than like normal. So it's like, I guess we'll see. But we're going to get this started and see how this finale goes. See how these last 2 episodes end up being, and hope for the best. But before we do, I do want to remind you all that we have a lot of great content to check out on this channel. I know the banner here isn't updated yet. It'll be updated after today because I've been waiting until after Thursday to get everything updated at once. But we have a plethora of awesome series reactions every day, Monday through Friday. And on Mondays, we also do YouTube or YouTube adjacent reactions, shorts, specials, miniseries that just don't have enough episodes, or actual YouTube stuff. Anything that really doesn't fit into a normal series or movie reaction goes in that slot. And speaking of movie reactions, we have those every Saturday and Sunday. They're pre-recorded earlier in the week, but uploaded on the weekend, so that every day has some sort of reaction content going on for it. We also have a couple of Let's Plays currently going on. We have Spider-Man 2 Let's Plays being uploaded every single day of the week. We're catching up now that I have finished recording it, so that you can start seeing the next Let's Play that's going to take over in that slot, which I've also already started recording. So, yeah, definitely got to get caught up. An episode a day should help us get caught up within a good enough time. And just as a note, if you are new to checking out the Spider-Man 2 Let's Play, I want to let you know that the first 9 parts, especially 5 through 9, which, by the way, those were my 2 first recording sessions, and as such, I was still getting used to using a capture card. It was my first time doing so. But those first 9 parts, especially 5 through 9, have some audio sync issues. They're notable, they exist, and there's not really much I can do about them because I didn't discover them until after. And recording everything on OBS, it's like you can't really separate things and fix it. It's like, if it's bad enough, there's not really much you can do to fix it. But everything from parts 10 and on, all good. I figured out the audio issues, I got it fixed, and the rest of the Let's Play is all good in regards to that. And I'll just let you know now, there is going to be 52 parts in total. So the vast majority of the Let's Play is all good in terms of that. But it's still a fun play, even for those parts that do have the audio issues. It's still a really great game. I'm shocked at just how good it is. But we're also playing Anno Mutationum on Saturdays. This is a donation reward Let's Play from Matthew Vasquez. And this is like this fun, quirky, cyberpunk style game. And if you want to know how to donate for future PS5 Let's Plays, go to the channel search, and type in PS5 or June Double Reward Month PS5. All one search. June Double Reward Month PS5. Type that into the search on the channel, and it should take you to the correct video. That'll tell you everything you need to know regarding how to donate for a future PS5 Let's Play. But all of that being said, I want to thank you as always so much for tuning in. Let's get this going. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, because yes, we do redirect all reactions on this channel. I understand that you may not want to click all these extra links to get there, but luckily for each video, it's only one link. You just go down to the description below, click the link, takes you right to the video. You know how YouTube's copyright system is really shitty, right? Well, because of that, I want to keep the channel safe. You see, we could get channel strikes, we could have a channel termination, and I've dealt with that latter one before. I've had channels terminated. I had an entire account terminated in the past, which included multiple channels. And because of that, just to remain safe, I feel like it's kind of in best interest. It's kind of the best choice here to just push all reactions onto another site. It keeps the YouTube channel safe and allows everyone to see the reactions as intended. And what I mean by that is this is a big plus. All of you, yes, every single one of you gets to see the full unedited reaction for free. No paywalls, no Patreon subscription, and you don't even have to sync up your own copy. It's just there on the video. I think that's pretty awesome, because not every reaction channel is able to get away with that for valid reasons. There's a lot of reasons why a lot of channels can't do that, and that's perfectly reasonable. But I do pride myself on being a channel that is able to give that to you, that is able to give you full unedited reactions for free. And so I hope you enjoy the reactions as they are. Any editing in them will just be if, like, I have to, like, stop the recording if something's going wrong or something, and just have to splice things together. It'll still be the entire series episode, the entire movie, and every reaction I put out. So, yeah. But that being said, after you watch the reaction, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will not only contain spoilers to the episodes, but also just my general thoughts on the episodes, on the series, on the season, and maybe even stuff related to the channel. And in this case, we'll definitely be revealing what's going to replace Kid Cosmic Season 2 in the Thursday slot. So, that all being said, of course, we're just gonna kind of go from there and hope for the best. So thank you once again so much for tuning in, and for now, I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So on top of having a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference with the Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster, we also have the fucking Powerpuff Girls in this. Like, their organization is PPG, Powerpuff Girls, which I made a joke about before I even realized that that was actually their voices. But it's actually the same voices. The characters are clearly modeled to look kind of like them. They're even named after their colors, pink, green, and blue. It's like, that's just straight up the Powerpuff Girls. And it's like, I know this is a Craig McCracken series. He, made Powerpuff Girls. He made Foster's Home. He made Wander Over Yonder. It's like, so it makes sense. It makes sense that he would leave references. And there's probably been other references I'm just not thinking of at the moment, of course. But this one is kind of in your face. This is a very big, blatant reference because this organization is clearly going to be a major thing in season 3. They have invited the now global heroes to join their forces and work with them to keep the Earth safe. And that means that these characters are going to be at least recurring in season 3. Now, in regards to that as well, Herodias, let's talk about that, because I talked about this in the reaction, but let's just bring it up again here. I don't think Herodias is finished, because that feels a little too easy. The way they defeated it was really cool and clever, especially with the goo, because the goo throughout the entire season has been seen as like this inconvenience for Kid. He's hated it. And in the end, it's the stone that actually helps them win and save the Earth and all. It's like, I think that's just a really cool, fun idea. To have the one, like, almost joke stone compared to everything else be the one to save the day is smart, is clever, it's fun. It just works on pretty much every level. And so, I just like how that worked out. I just like how that ended up, going. Now, this was resolved. They were defeated and everything. Phantos and Herodias were defeated. But this can't be the end. There's no way. Because Herodias was built up, again, since season 1. Had killed the previous survivors. Is the entire reason for the existence of these stones, basically. It's like Herodias being defeated while there's still one more season to go feels premature. Which, like I said, either means that there's another body, or this is being controlled by someone, or both. Because here's how I'm looking at it. Herodias is this giant, like, spherical planet killer, right? And the core of its body is made up of the planets it absorbs. It is completely that. I mean, I was thinking it was like there was something maybe in the middle, but that all of it surrounding all of the Earth surrounding it, for lack of a better word, is all from the planets. But no, like we see through the end when they sink into the planet's core, it's all just it's all just the planets. It's the remnants of all these planets. That's all this body was. And that implies that there was nothing more to this than that. That makes this feel like it's being controlled by something. That makes this feel like it's a tool rather than the actual form itself. It's a tool used to just act in a probably stronger, more effective way than what the actual Herodias might be able to do outside of that. I feel like there's got to be like an actual person behind Herodias. And I feel like a couple options for how to work that. Either it's going to be someone we've already met and don't suspect. Someone who's been playing as an ally, a friend, a good guy, and even might have helped take down this body of Herodias to keep up the disguise. Or it's just someone we haven't met yet, and we're going to meet them probably pretty early in season 3. That's kind of the two options I see. Now, let's pivot to Mo's Oasis real quick, because the Oasis completely destroyed. We know it was teleported to space, and by the end of this, it was completely obliterated. There was no like semblance of it left. Like, it's not that it can be brought back down to where it was, it just doesn't exist anymore. And considering how, popular Mo's Oasis had become, especially as it had reached outer space and all, that kind of sucks. But I'm wondering if they're going to maybe create a new Mo's Oasis with the government money they've got. I don't know how they're going to like get some of their old customers back, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, it's like, it's pretty wild, all things considered, because it's been kind of a staple location of the entire show. It's just, it just goes back to the fact that season 3 only has 6 episodes, the fact that they really got to kind of rush this out. They really got to get to the meat of the season pretty quick, and it's like they can't, like, wait on that. They can't dilly-dally. So I don't know, we might not even just get any closure for that. But it was good to see Jo not only realize her mistake, but apologize to everyone and make it right. She not only apologized, she not only, like, understood what she had done was wrong, but she actually worked to make it right. She worked to make up for her mistakes, just like Queen Jean did. And yeah, it's like, that's pretty wild. And Queen Jean, I'd have to go back and see. Let me see if I can go back and find it real quick. I'm going to mute this, obviously, so you don't, so nothing is, heard throughout this. But I just want to check something real quick. I want to make sure. I want to, like, make sure I know what's going on, basically. Okay, we see it getting destroyed. Queen Jean is at the Oasis as it's being destroyed. Okay, no, she did teleport out. Okay. With everything being destroyed, I was kind of, I kind of, like, missed, I guess, the fact that she teleported out. It just, like, I guess just slipped over my head somehow. Or just with everything going on, maybe I just did notice and forgot about it, like, really quickly. I was kind of, like, about to ask there, did Queen Jean die? But no, she did make it out. I don't think she was with them at the end, though, right? Let me check to be sure. No, she's not with them at the end. Everyone else is there except her. Like, yeah, everyone else is there except her. She's the only one not there. So we don't know where she teleported to. And we don't know, like, what she's going to do at this point. She'll probably be back next season. I'm very sure of that. Like, they're not just going to get rid of her character. She'll be back. But she's going to maybe take a little bit to come back. I don't think it'll be episode 1. But I'm very curious as to what she's going to do from here on out. Because she was proven wrong, and she acknowledged she was wrong. She acknowledged that Jo was the one in the right. And that her methods, her ideas were wrong. And that's good. And like I said, like I had been saying this entire time, she never had ill intent, and she was just genuinely trying to help. But she was just doing it wrong. And sometimes that happens. People can do that. People can genuinely want to help others, but do it in a wrong way. And her intent was never to make, like, Jo hate her family or have her family hate her or anything. She was never trying to do that. She was just trying to make Jo strong. She was trying to make Jo confident, make her be able to take charge. And just the way she went about it was the issue. We're also, through these episodes, introduced to Carlax, or like really introduced to him. He's the UPX driver we had seen prior. And he's just a nice dude. He's just a really cool guy. And we get to see kind of all the aliens we've seen this entire season join forces in this big battle. Though they are all kind of sent away, and we never actually find out where. We never actually get closure on where they went. I wonder if we'll find out in season 3. Because we found out where everyone else was sent. All of our local heroes, now global heroes, were sent together to the same place, but all the other ships weren't. We don't know where they went. So, yeah, I wonder if we're going to find that out and get kind of like some follow-up on those characters. I mean, they could probably just make those characters exclusive to season 2, but that would almost feel like, especially with how they came together in the end to fight for Jo, or for Flo, rather, it would feel kind of like mean to just like leave them be from this point on. We gotta at least check in on them, you know? We gotta at least check in on them. And seeing that Herodias is made of stones and everything kind of just makes sense. Because I don't think we entirely knew that Herodias was made up of the planets it absorbs, but it's kind of something that it's like makes sense once you realize. It's like, oh yeah, it's like that kind of almost had to be the case, wouldn't it? So it's like once you realize, and it's like, oh yeah, it would be made of stones then. And so seeing them all use all these different copies of the stones is great. All these different combinations. This really did feel like a huge climactic battle. And honestly, if it weren't for the setups for season 3, I would say that this could have ended here. It really could have. But they decided to set up for season 3 as well and make it clear that, oh yeah, there's more to come. But they could have worked it to where this would have been the end. They could have easily made that work. There's certain characters, though, that I am hoping get more of a role again in season 3. The Tom Kenny alien, who, again, I can't remember the name of right now, he took a very huge backseat this season. He was a major character in season 1, starting off as an antagonist, turning into one of the heroes. But in this season, he was barely there. Like, I know it gives a lot of the other characters time to shine, and that was great. But I wanted to see more of him, too. And so hopefully he'll get more of a role in season 3 again. And then just some of the other characters who took a little bit more of a backseat. Like Papa G, like I said, Papa G and Rosa were less focused on this season than in season 1. Because Jo took such a massive forward step this season, which is fair. But like I keep saying, only 6 episodes. So it's like, I don't think there's going to be enough time to really do another notable character arc with any of the specific characters. I think we're just going to go kind of to all of them again. I think it's going to be a thing where it's like, oh, Kid's going to take back the lead protagonist role, and all the others will be like the deuteragonists in a way. That's kind of what I'm expecting from it. There's a lot to look forward to, and this series just keeps impressing me. Like, I honestly stand by that this is Craig McCracken's best work. And not because it's serialized rather than episodic. It's not just because of that. I think it just feels the most complete. It feels like there was more work and effort put into this than the others. And not that there wasn't work and effort put into the others. I definitely think there was. Powerpuff Girls, Foster's Home, both great shows. Wander Over Yonder wasn't as much my thing, though there is a lot of great stuff in it. Lord Dominator, for example. But it's just like, it just wasn't as much my thing personally. And that's more of a me issue than anything. It was still well made. And then you have this, and it's just like, this is just kind of a step above everything else. It just feels like so much more complete, so much more exciting and intense. And if I'm being completely honest, and this might just be me, I'm more invested in these characters. And to be fair, that might be because it's serialized. With episodic shows, it's a little more difficult to get super invested and caring about these characters. Because it's like, oh, there's just a new problem every week. They don't have to go through these story arcs and these character arcs. It's just like each episode is just a reset, basically. There's almost never like notable continuity. And you don't have to worry about like, oh, the characters have grown from these mistakes they've made in the past. No, it doesn't really get you invested as much. And again, episodic shows are different in that way, that's not what they're going for exactly. But that is kind of one of the big things that I personally do look for a lot of times. That's why I do tend to enjoy serialized shows more than episodic for the most part. This is definitely one of those where it's like the fact that they are having consistent development and growth and all is absolutely helping. It makes me care so much about these characters, get so invested in them, and just want to see them more and more. Which also in turn helps the story, which also in turn helps a lot of things, honestly. So, I mean, I can't complain. I think that it's just genuinely great in that regard. And I think it is Craig McCracken's best work, personally. But we are going to take a break before going into season 3. Even though season 3 is only 6 episodes, I do want to take a break. Because it's like, I don't want to just overwhelm myself. I think this is a really good point to close at for now. And I don't want to even have the possibility of feeling like season 3 is dragging because I went right into it. It takes a very specific kind of show to make me want to continue right away into it, you know? I did that with Centaur World, right? And that's because Centaur World really hit on a level that I was not expecting and became something kind of important to me in a lot of ways. That's the only reason I was able to continue on with that right away. Stuff like that. And it's the reason why I'm able to watch so much of One Piece in a row. And don't really get burnt out much on that. Because One Piece means so much to me. It's my literal favorite piece of media of all time. So. But with most shows, it's just good to take a break. And there's another reason we need to take a break. Because, as I mentioned earlier in the month, we have one more Pride surprise for you. We have one more Pride special part, thing, whatever you want to call it, to announce. And that's what's going to be replacing this series. See, this is a donation rewards series. Thursdays are for donation rewards. That's just how the sorting of it goes. And so I felt like I could use something a little different for the next donation reward. There's a few other things I wanted to get to, of course, But this was something that's kind of been on my list for a while, and I've been asked about it somewhat recently. And I think with next week, like, let me see the exact date. If this comes up. Okay. Next Thursday is the 27th. It's still June. June has 30 days. So with next week still being Pride Month, we can slip in at least the start of something quite fitting with that to replace, I almost said OKKO, Kid Cosmic with for the time being. And that is a donation reward reaction for Sydney. So thank you, Sydney, for donating for this a while back, I think, at this point. The replacement for Kid Cosmic Season 2, in honor of Pride Month, the final part of our Pride special will be Heartstopper. This is a big queer series that, like, just blew up. Now, I don't know what I'm going to think about this, because I've heard a little bit about it. And it always came across as a show that it's like, this is probably going to be, like, very in your face about things and not feel supernatural. Not feel very natural, you know what I mean. It's going to be one of those cases where it's like, oh, we're not just having queer characters in a show. It's a show about queerness, and sometimes that can come across as a little forced. There's a lot of shows I've watched that are, about queer characters that oftentimes can be like, oh, you're pushing this a little much. You're trying to make a series that's all about this experience, and it doesn't have anything else to really make it work. I tend to usually prefer shows that are about other things but include queer characters. One Piece is not about queerness in any way, yet it has a bunch of queer characters who are awesome in it. Dead End Paranormal Park has multiple queer characters, and the queerness is a big part of their character, but the show's not about that. It's about demons and different realms, like, interacting with each other and stuff. It's not about queerness, but queerness is a major factor in it. That's kind of what I like to see. But when a show is actively about the queer experience, a lot of times it can feel, like, unnaturally forced and kind of too much in your face with it. And it's just kind of a matter of how well it's done, with the acting, with the writing and dialogue and stuff, if that's going to work at that point. For me. But we'll see. I am very much willing to give it a chance, especially with how popular it is. We will see. If it ends up being something I don't like, at least I've given it a chance, I'm always willing to give everything at least a chance. And hell, for all I know, I might end up loving it. I might end up being one of these big fans of the series. We'll have to see. For the time being, though, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of Kid Cosmic Season 2, and specifically these final 2 episodes? And before we close this off, just one more reminder that we have a lot of awesome content to check out on this channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions, and on Mondays we have YouTube, or at least YouTube adjacent reactions. Anything that doesn't quite fit into regular series or movie reactions goes in this slot. And speaking of movie reactions, we have those every Saturday and Sunday. They're pre-recorded during the week, but uploaded on the weekend, so that every day has some sort of reaction content going on for it. We're also currently going through a couple Let's Plays on the channel. We have Spider-Man 2 every day. I already finished recording it, but we're still getting up those parts. We're getting them up every single day now, so we'll catch up within no time, because I've already started its replacements as well. We also have Anno Mutationum on Saturdays. This is a donation reward Let's Play for Matthew Vasquez. And yeah, if you want to know how to donate for a future PS5 Let's Play, Go to the channel search, and type in June Double Reward Month PS5. Just one search. And it should take you to the correct video that will tell you everything you need to know regarding how to donate for a future PS5 Let's Play. So, all of that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.